Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we
Yes.
can see Dinesh.
Okay. So basically, like, what is Power BI now? Power BI, we it's a business intelligence tool, right? So it's developed by Microsoft. Uh, its predecessor was Excel, and from there it got developed into a separate reporting tool. It's mostly used for transforming and analyzing your data, and you can connect into different data sources and transform your data and analyze and visualize it. And it also allows you to create different reports and dashboards using which you can make data driven decisions. So what are the key components of Power BI? Well, we have Power BI Desktop, which is a free application where you can just create reports and dashboards. Then we have Power BI Service, which is a cloud-based platform where you publish your report and share it across different users. So you create your report in Power BI Desktop and you share it in Power BI Service. Then we have Power BI Mobile. It's basically just an app for you to view your Power BI reports. And then there is Power BI Report Builder, which is uh, a different tool, but it's used to make create reports like printable reports or Excel reports. Uh, for example, if you have a simple Excel report which you send out daily to your stakeholders and you want to automate that, you can use Power BI Report Builder to automate it and schedule that report so that it goes on daily without any intervention from your end. This also gets the Power BI, the report builder, whatever report you create on report builder, it's called paginated report, and that also gets published or stored in Power BI service. Then you have Power BI Gateway, which is, as the name suggests, just a gateway which connects your data which you have locally, or your company might have it in some SQL database. So it helps connect that data to the Power BI service, which is in the cloud. Okay. So what are the key features of Power BI? Data connectivity, as I said, it allows you to connect to various sources, SQL, Excel. These are just basic examples, but there are unlimited sources available, and each and every day they keep on creating new connectors to connect to those. You can connect to any websites as well, any applications, so that if you want to fetch the data from there. Currently, we connect to our in-house database using APIs. Uh, all the applications that we have in our organization, we use APIs and we fetch the data from there. You can use Power BI. So it has a module which is called Power Query, which helps you to transform data, clean your raw data, and before you use it for visualizations. Then we have data modeling feature, which is basically DAX. It allows you to create custom calculations, custom columns, and measures. Then you have your visuals. So there are various visuals available. By default, there are multiple visuals which you can use for creating your reports. But you can also tap into the Power BI store to get any custom visuals if you want. Or if you are good at programming, you can create your own visuals using Python or R language. Then we have AI-powered insights, which allows you to use some specific AI features for, predictive analysis or pattern recognition. Then comes the security and governance. Uh, Security and governance, you can create specific role-based security where each users can see only their data. So that's inbuilt and uh, enabled by Power BI. So before moving on, I just want to quickly show you the licensing of Power BI. For any individual, if you just want to create a report and learn from it, Power BI free, it's available. You just have to sign into your Microsoft account, and then you will get a free license. You can create report, but you cannot share it across. It allows like refresh one time, and it's just for personal use and learning. Then we have Power BI Pro, which is around $10 per month per user, and it allows you to share it, and you can collaborate with your teams, with different users, pro users. It allows you to refresh your data or report 8 times a day, and it's mostly used for small teams. Then you have like premium per user, which is around $20 per user per month. It enables you, like it gives you a little bit wider scope where you can work on more larger data sets, around 100 GB. You can also use those paginated reports that I talked about earlier, and then you can refresh 48 times in a day. Also, it's mostly used for analysts or power users. Then we have Power BI Premium per capacity, which our organization uses, which is around like, let's say 5,000 per month. It gives you a dedicated capacity. When I say dedicated capacity, it means like it provides you an ample amount of, space or CPU power in the backend so that you can run large data sets and multiple, like unlimited number of reports. Unlimited data refresh available for this license, and it's best for large enterprise. So let's see. So these are basically the comparison. So I would say, like, if you're just learning, free licenses for you, but for larger organization, capacity would be the way to go. So let me just close this, and we will just quickly move on to the Power BI desktop. Okay, so this, whatever you're seeing on the screen is Power BI Desktop. You can easily download it from Microsoft website or even from Microsoft Store. You can download it, and just to get you, familiar with what and all are there. So I'll just go through basic stuff here. So what you're seeing right now is where you create your report. It's called report page or report canvas, and you just drag and drop your visuals over here to create build your report. You have your panels, filter panel, where you can apply filters. You have your visuals over here. There are tons of visuals. You can even get it, as I said, from the store if you want more visuals. Then you have your data panel where all your data sets or your tables are stored. Okay. Now, so the one that you're seeing right now, it's report view. Now we have something called data view, where you have your tables for easy, validation, manipulation. You can just use your data view. Then we have model view, where you can see your relations available, whatever is needed. Then you have your DAX view, where you can write DAX just to validate or evaluate your tables or your measures that you're going to create. In the report view, there are like the major stuff that you might need is this one, where you transform your data in the Power Query. So before I explain about that, let me just pull in one table, and then I'll just show you how you can transform it. So I'm gonna get, like, if you see here under get data, you have multiple options to fetch your data, right? So you have Excel, you can fetch it text, CSV format, XML, JSON, even a folder. A folder is basically anything in your desktop where, let's say, you have like 10 Excel files. If they are all having similar data, you can just use this folder to fetch everything at once. Then you have different databases. As I said, there are like many databases which you can connect. Then you have your Azure database. Online services include like SharePoint, Access, websites like Google Analytics, Salesforce. So all those websites you can connect using this online service. And there are also options to connect directly using Python script, R script, or specific web APIs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply pull one text file and select that, connect. And I have one text file here called product lookup. Just select that. And when you hit open, it will pull the uh, text file here. So this is what I have in the file. Now it's a CSV file, so it's comma separated. And let me go ahead and click on transform. It's always better to transform your data before you load it, so that any kind of changes you want to make, you can do it before the data gets loaded in your report. So I see everything is fine here. But
Yes.
anything you want to do, like you want to filter out something, text filter you can apply from here. You want to remove empty or null values, you can do it from here. You want to change the name of the columns, you can just double click and change the name. Okay, so as I said, all the modeling, all the cleanup happens in the Power Query editor. You can do it in the report side as well, but it's always better to do it in the Power Query editor here. Okay, if you want to add custom columns, you can add it from here. And if you want to see, the column quality, how many errors are there, whether there is null values, you can just use the column quality to check. So it provides all the features or facilities to, like check your data, validate it, and clean it. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So yeah.
Dinesh, I have one query. So for suppose in Excel we have formulas based. For suppose in one column we have formulas we have entered. When we
Mhm.
import, is formulas will be imported or it will be page special values over here?
Yeah, the data that the formula is generating, that will get
That
imported here.
okay
Yeah.
means the only the values will be get
Yeah.
imported. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so you just need to close and apply it. Once it's transformed, it will load that data. Now I have already loaded other tables. So 1 second. Once you load it, it will refresh that data and load everything. So earlier in the Power Query editor, it just loads partial data so that you can easily manipulate it. Like around 1,000 rows gets loaded, so that you can do your data manipulation or cleanup there faster. And once you close and apply, the entire data that you have in that file or database gets loaded here. Okay. Now I have all these tables. So before we proceed, we need to first make sure that the what we want to do, like what our requirement is. So based on that, we need to create the reports, right? So I'm going to check the data view to understand the data first. Okay, so I have a customer lookup data where it stores customer details. Then I have employee lookup, which is storing all the employees or the staff details. Then I have food inventory table, which is storing basically the store ID and the products that they have. Okay, like, and I have product lookup where it stores all the products that the store has. Likewise, I have sales by store, which is basically storing all the transaction details. If you see, one thing is common here, all the lookup table, it has ID and basically the uh, categorization of that specific ID. Like for example, customer ID 301, this is the customer, from when. So all the details are there in lookup table. The sales by store table is basically a transaction table, or we call it a fact table in uh, data terms, and it stores all the transactions that is happening. So if you see, transaction ID is the main primary key in this. Okay, and then we have store ID, which is basically a foreign key, which we use to relate store to this. Staff ID, we will relate the employee table that we saw using the staff ID uh, column. Likewise, for customer ID, we will relate our customer lookup table to this table using customer ID. Okay. Similarly to product ID and then store ID. Okay. So let's go to once we understand the data, we will go to our modeling. And the modeling is pretty straightforward in this because there is only one fact table, which is the transaction table, okay, which is by store, sales by store, and everything else uh, connects to that. Right? This is actually the most simplest model that you're seeing right now. It doesn't work like this, but uh, if you notice something, Power BI automatically created the relationship here. Otherwise, you have to manually go over here, click on this icon, which says to add, edit, or remove relationship, and then you create relationships here. So let's say let me delete this one. This relationship is basically connecting the store table to the sales by store table, right? So I want to, from the store, I want to check which store did how much. So I need to connect this stores lookup to the sales by store table. So I'm going to click on new relationship, store lookup. I have my store ID as the primary key in this. Then I will go to sales by store and it automatically detected the store ID. So relationship one to many, as much as possible, always try to keep it as one to many. If you go, through one to many or many to one, if you use many to many or one to one, then there might be cases or conflicts which will cause error later on, because then it will create, circular relationships at times. As in, like, store might be filtering this out, uh, look product might be filtering this table, but if it is many to many, then the sales by store table might reverse filter the store lookup also, which is not allowed. So best practice is, try to create as many, like, one to many as possible, and you can use like bridge tables and all to accommodate that. So okay, I see that there is one store lookup happening to food inventory since it has store ID. Okay, that is fine. And I also see product lookup is filtering this.
What
Okay, so
happens if we select one to one?
one to one, what it does is it filters both way. Okay, one to one. So store lookup can filter like food inventory, whereas food inventory can also filter store lookup. So one to one also kind of like acts like many to many. Okay, but there is option. There is always option provided where you can just direct the filtering in one way. So basically, when you're creating relationship, you can just think of it as some table filtering some other table, to get that desired result.
So
Okay.
now with this relationship like one to many, which we selected, so in store lookup, we can select one ID and it will filter in the sales store, food inventory, whatever it can find,
Yes.
right? Okay,
So one store can have many transactions, right? Which is stored
correct.
in this sales by store. So basically, if you select one store, it filters all the data available for that store, and then it will only show you that specific details, like whatever, whether it is, like how much it's sold in that specific day. So that is only seen for that specific store. So that's why we're creating lookup here. And as I said, this is a very simple uh, model. In real life, it's not going to be like this. So everything will be related to each other. You won't have like multiple, lookup tables like how it is. There will be like hundreds of, at times like 10, 20 fact tables like this. And you have to relate or create your own lookup tables as well, create a bridge table. So okay, so we know our data, we know our model, how it is related. Now let's look into something called DAX. Okay, so DAX is basically what's driving our you know, the analysis if you want to analyze something, because if you want to create some column, a custom column, or if you want to create some uh, custom measures, then you need DAX. Like how in Excel you just have formula, right? So in Power BI it is DAX. So for example, let's say I go over here, sales by store. Okay, now if you notice something, it says that quantity sold is 1, and then unit price is 3. So for one quantity, the unit price is 3. Okay, so let's say if there is someone sold 2, right? Unit price is 12. Okay, unit price as in like for one quantity it is 12. That means for 2, how much
24.
did the store? 24, right? But it's not readily available. So how do you do that? We create a custom column to calculate the selling price. I mean, so we just click on here, new column option is there. And we can name this column, let's say actual price, or let's say total price. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to multiply this quantity sold by the unit price, right? So I have the columns quantity sold and multiply it into unit price. Okay, so this is it. Like it automatically creates your, you know, column over here, new column. It's similar like how you in Excel, you just go to a cell and then apply there. Now I want to get the sum of the total price, right? So what I can do is I can create a measure for that, because I want a total of everything. I cannot do it in column. I need a measure. So create new measure. You can just right click on the table here and then create new measure. So let's say total price, which is basically the aggregate function sum. Okay, total price is already used, so I'm gonna just put an underscore here. Okay, now you have a measure here. Measure, you can easily, drag and drop here. So I'll just show you something. I'm dragging a card visual. I have created a measure called total price, right? So once I drag that here, it will show me how much exactly was sold. So around 4 million. Now, this is the total price, which we called as explicit measure because we created it ourselves. There is something called implicit measure with Power BI automatically does the calculation. So instead of that, now if I drag the total price column that we created in the field, if you see, it automatically assigns a aggregate function of sum to it. There are various other functions like average, minimum, maximum, count. Okay, the reason, you know, this is pretty straightforward, but it's advised that you create an explicit function, I mean a measure, so that later on if you do some advanced, like intelligence, apply that, it doesn't cause any issues. So it's always advised to create a measure explicitly instead of using an implicit measure. Okay. Now we have a total, you know, price that we got, but it's just giving you a total of everything on that table. Let's say you want to see for which store, right? We have already created a relationship between store and the sales by store table. Now I will just apply a slicer here. Slicers are basically filters which will filter this specific report, okay, in this page. Filters are three types. You can filter on a specific visual, or you can filter on the entire page, or you can filter on the entire report. Okay. So I just need to put the store name, store
Store ID.
address. The store ID is the ID which is connected to sales by store, right? But just by ID, I mean, you won't know, right, what exactly is which store is what. So it's basically the address. So let's say this is, Baking Go, right? So where is Baking Go? It's there in 100 Church Street or it's in Jamaica Avenue. Which one is it? So if I select the store, the address, it will filter the data according to that. Jamaica Avenue doesn't have any cell. So if you see some don't have any, I mean, they are equal. Sixth Avenue also has same. Okay. Okay, so this was basic card visual and slicer. Then we have our tables and metrics. Sometimes we want to see it, in a table. Sometimes we want to see it in, uh, like metrics is basically the pivot of Excel. Okay, if you want to see it in pivot, what you do is you just select the pivot visual, right? And then you put in your measure that you created in the values here. So it will show you like what's stored it, how much. Okay, so likewise, let's say I want to use a bar chart, stack bar chart. And there isn't much difference, so it's just showing almost equal. And all the visuals are interactive with each other. Just make sure that keep a note of that, because let's say this 687 9th Avenue, right? This is my stack bar chart. This visual is interactive with this card visual. If I select this, if you see, it filters. If I select this, it filters out the other visuals. So that's one good thing. If you some people want it, I mean, it is needed if you want the report to be interactive. If you want to disable it, you can easily go to format, edit interaction, and block it. Like if you select this, you get option over here whether you want to enable or block it. Just block it. If you do that, it won't filter the card. Okay. Okay, now moving on to DAX again. So here you see that we have created small, visual and then uh, simple DAX. But one thing is missing here. Uh, we want to filter it based on date as well, right? We want to see at what date or what month, how much, we sold. So if you want to do that, now you need a date table. You can obviously put the date from this transaction table and use it, but it's always advised to create a separate date table, because if you have multiple tables, you want a single date slicer or which filters everything, right? So what I will do is I'll just go to data view here, uh, and I'll create a new table which is completely with DAX. Okay, and this will be my date table. Now this is a little bit advanced DAX, but yeah, I think it would be better for you guys to know what exactly is there. So I'll be using add column functions. So all of these are inbuilt functions. You can do a whole lot of things in the Power BI report. So simple add column functions, which requires, this is the layout. It requires a table input, a name, and expression, right? Table, now we need to create a date table, right? So what I'm using is I'm using a calendar function, which will give me basically a calendar based on the start date and end date I provide. Start date here will be, let's say I want it from uh, 2020. Okay, so what I will do here is I have to put a start date of 2020. Now, how will you put? You cannot just put like 2020 1 like this. It won't recognize it. So you have to put it under another function, which is date function. Okay, so here in date function you can supply your year, your month, and your day. Okay, that is my start date. Now I need an end date. End date I will just keep it for today. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna close this. This is, if you see, I close the calendar. So I have supplied a table, this table, and then now I need to, if I need more columns, I can just, create more columns. Like for example, let's say I need a year column, right, in that table. So give the name first, year, and then how do you get that year? Use a year function. So everything has a function here. What will we supply here? We will supply the date that got created. Likewise, I need, one second, let me close this. I need a month as well. Name will be always in double quotes since it's a string. And then function, month function. Then you put your date column. By the way, this date column that you see in brackets that I'm putting, this is basically the date column, which is gonna get created in this table that I have mentioned here, the calendar table. Okay. Okay, so also I'll just create one more.
Quarter.
Yeah, that would be really use. So quarter. Now quarter column, let's see, let's make it a little bit complicated for you guys. So I'm gonna put for quarter column one string, which is Q, which shows that it is. So I want it in the format of Q1, Q2, not just a number, because if I use quarter function, it will just give me a number there. So quarter function, and then again the date column within the brackets. So if you see what it is doing is it's basically uh, I'm putting one Q as a string, and is basically concatenation that you use in Excel, or it adds the two uh, text. Okay, so finger crossed. Hope it doesn't throw any error. Okay, so this is how we get. Now we have a date table ranging from 2022 till date. Okay, so
This quarter functions, it will take from January to December, right? Or we can change that how to calculate Q1, Q2. For suppose in India, Q1 is April to June, like that. For
yeah,
in
it takes
US,
in four quarter, basically like Jan to
Jan to December.
no,
We
Jan to March as like one quarter,
first
yeah,
quarter, right?
first quarter, yeah.
We can't change that to our customization. Like we need like April to June as a Q1, June to September as a Q2,
Yeah,
September
you
to
can do
December.
that. You can
How to
do.
do that?
So for that, you need to again write custom DAX. Okay. So
Okay.
this is straightforward, right? You have a date table which is
So
showing.
these month, quarter, day, these are the already inbuilt one
These are functions which is
functions
basically,
which are
yeah,
basically.
fetching the year or month
Hmm.
or quarter from this date that we have
From this,
specified.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's say, as you said, right, 7/1/2020, it's under quarter three. Now, if
Got
it
it.
is not quarter three, let's say it's supposed to be quarter four,
Got it.
then
Hmm.
you just add +1 here. Okay, with this.
Okay.
With this function, let's say I want to make it quarter four +1, then it will automatically move the quarter
Hmm.
with one. Like if it is quarter
Got
three,
it.
it will become four. If it is four, it becomes Uh,
Got
oh,
it.
it becomes 5 in this case. But anyway, yeah, that can be sorted. Whatever you said, it can
Mm.
be fixed with DAX.
Okay.
So we have a date table now. I'm just going to apply again one slicer and bring that date. Okay, so you see we have a slicer. Let's see, nothing happening, right? Why do you think nothing is happening? Amulya, are you there?
I think Amulya left.
Okay. Well,
So
why do you think
they
nothing is happening in this?
um we blocked.
No, no, it's not about
Okay.
blocking. Ria, what
Just
about you? Why do you think like this date slicer is not, filtering out any of our data? No.
relationship do we have
Yeah, we
sales
need
data?
to create a relationship. We don't have
We
relationship with
don't have
date table,
relationship,
right?
huh?
See, date table is
Okay, huh.
we just created it right now, right?
Oh yeah,
So how will
correct.
it filter this? So basically, we need to create a new relation between date table and
And sales table.
sales. Yeah. So sales, I think it's the transaction date. This one. In date table, we have date. So one to many again, it automatically detected, which is good. We'll go with that. There might be issues at time because of format. Because if you see, the date is having the format as this one, date time
Yeah,
format. Okay.
correct.
So here also, this is one thing that you can see. It allows you whole lot of formats as well. You can just select it and automatically assign. I want it to be date format, and I want to keep it as short date. Okay, so if you see changed, likewise in the sales by store also, I want the format to be date and short date.
Mm.
Now let's see if we go, see it filters 2023, doesn't have any data from 2023. So when does it have?
Mm.
2020 also it doesn't have any data. So I think the data set is really old. Let me just see.
17,
It's coming from 2017. Okay, and till 2019.
19. Okay.
So one thing that you can, customize here in date table is now I have done it till today, right? Here.
Yeah,
So I just need to change this to
this one.
2017.
Mm.
And instead of doing it today here, okay, let's
We
say I
can
just want to make sure that the date will be available only whatever is the maximum date in the sales by store
sales.
table.
Okay.
So I will use a max function, okay,
Okay.
maximum of date, which is coming from transaction date, right? So sales by store transaction date.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting the maximum of this.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, didn't get any error. 1 second.
Mm. And 21 is the maximum data.
See, 2017. Okay, okay.
We can put like minimum from the transaction date
Yeah,
column
that
also,
also
right?
we can do. Yeah,
Mm.
minimum. So what else is there? So this is there. Now we just got the total sales by store. If you want to see total sales by some other stuff, we have already gotten our relation set. So you can just even do timeline, like view it based on that. Let's say we will do it based on the line, right? So how much did we sell across the, let's say, let's put it in y-axis, and let's put our date. Okay. It can easily show you like how much you made each day or quarter or month. You can drill up, drill down, and see. Okay, so you can drill up like based on year 2017, the sales dropped, it seems, right? You can go a little bit down to see based on quarter, move more further to see by based on month, or let's go completely down to see it based on day. Okay. So from Jan, the data is there till March 2018. A lot of fluctuations happened. It increased in July, and then the high points are there in November 2017. Then again, it started dropping. So this shows that during November, December, the sales are high. Why? Because it's a bakery store, and then there is Christmas season and all. So definitely that's the reason why it's increasing. So you can analyze the data, figure out what causes the hike or spike, and use that for telling story or making decisions. You can also check like what kind of product is selling more, right? So if I go over here, I have my product table, product lookup. And let me just bring in a table. It would be easier to analyze. Let's say product. What is my product? Whatever croissant category. So let's say I want to actually check how, instead of checking, like the how much sales it made, I want to check how many units are getting sold, right? So I have what is called as quantity sold. So let me put that here. Okay, automatically it's doing sum here. So if you see almond croissant, which is a bakery selling, and if you want to sort it, click on here, sort by what product, category, or quantity sold. Want to see the maximum, right? Descending. So Earl Grey tea is selling the highest, it seems. What was, like as I said, visuals are interactive, right? So what got sold higher in this specific spike? Click on that spike and you see coffee
And
mostly.
store and total.
Yeah, latte is very famous. It seems. Oh, and then there is like so you just first of all get whatever so data you need to analyze, right? That's the
Mm.
first step. First you understand the data, you bring in the data here, whatever measures is required, columns are required, you create that. Then the last step is to, not the last
Visual.
step, but second last step is to visualize it. Once you're done visualizing, now let's say I just want to show top 10 here, right? How will I do that? It's pretty straightforward. This is a table that I have brought. I want to show top 10 product. I will go to product here in the filter panel, click on it. Basic filtering is enabled right now. You can also filter by the way your data using this filter panel. Okay, so as the name suggests, filtering the data from here. But you can click here, go to top N. I want top 10. Based on what? Based on the quantity sold. Drag it here. Apply filter. It will just show you the top 10 of that. Okay. And then once you have all the visuals ready, it is time for you to properly design it. So this is like roughly made. Now, one thing is every visual, okay, every visual has around three panels here. If you see, right, in the visualization pane, if you go, you have your visuals where you can format your visuals from here, your x-axis, your charts. Okay, I don't want values, let's say. Say, I don't want title. Remove your title. Likewise in x-axis, I don't want title. Okay, just to make it a little bit better. If you don't want grid line, remove it. Bars, I don't like the color. I will go with pink. Okay. Data labels. I need data labels. Enable that. Data labels should not be in millions. I want it in, let's say, thousands or something like that. Go to value. You can change the font. You can change the size of the font, color, decimal value, how much you want to show. Display is showing automatically. Let's say I want it in thousands. It will show it in thousands. Just change that also. Okay, and you can change your background. You can put image. A whole lot of stuff you can do
Mm.
just from the visual formatting option. Then you have your basic general formatting, which is like like putting the title and other stuff here, subtitles. And also over here there used to be one option. This one is actually for uh, analyzing, the uh, predicting and stuff. So, but it only applies to certain charts. Like for example, line chart, it will you will see a whole lot of thing. For bar chart, there isn't much. If you go to line chart, you see that there is a lot of forecasting options and all.
Mm. So
And
here
it's
everything is about the like visualization and format only. Can't can we create like any custom table and we need values from those database. So I want to create like first of all if you take a balance sheet or P&L, I will create all these line items like expenses, income and all. I will put month columns over here and I have to bring the values from these databases, multiple databases it have to bring, and I will give the formulas also. Like, can we create such kind of table in these visualization pages, or only these kind of uh, f- like graphs, histograms, or pivot tables? Only those we can
no,
create.
we can create like if you just want a table, right? So you can
Mm,
just add that table. Like let's say you want to create some kind of balance sheet or something.
hmm.
You can do that. You can use table visual or metrics visual, and you
Okay.
can showcase that. There are a lot of options designing wise, even more. So if you can do something in Excel, let's say you are doing it right now in Excel, right? You
Hmm.
can do, like a lot better in Power BI using.
Hmm.
Like you can entirely show all the table items. So I don't want sum. I just want don't summarize. So since anything that is like numeric, right? Power BI
Hmm.
tends to directly sum that. I don't. Sometimes when you're showing in table, you don't want it to sum, right? You just want to see each and every row. So you can just drag and drop here. See in the visualization column. So yeah, P&L, financial statements, those kind of stuff. There are a lot of options in Power BI. And then we just in the end, the final thing is like designing basically where you want to place. There are a lot of you know research about that also, like how do you want to place your visuals. They say that people like viewing it from left to right, so important stuff should be at the left side and all less important stuff towards your right side, so all those stuff are
Okay.
also involved. Now once you are done with your visuals, with your report, there are many other stuff which you can do, but for the basic stuff, this is like how you create a simple report. Final thing is you publish it. Where will you publish it? To the Power BI workspace, which is there in the service. Okay, Power BI service. So if I click here, save, and then it will give me an option to publish that report. So then only you can share it with all the other users.
Okay.
If I don't, publish it, it's only available for myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Publishment just like saving.
We have option to extract this report as well.
Yeah, that is a good question. We can. So let's say you have created this report and you want to share it across, right? Let's say there are many options. Let's say you just want, like to share this data, or let's say you publish this report and some user wants to know what is what the table they want to extract. That there is an option to export data, so it will only export the underlying data for you. Now, let's say you want to share this as a PDF. You have options to export it as PDF, okay, which
Mm.
will create like kind of a PDF file, which you can just send it in an email. There are other options to directly automate as well, where you can, where it automatically uh, emails to the user with the report. So
So if we publish, it will not, I mean, it will not show the data, right? Database. We can just access this table. I mean, this page.
yeah, it won't show the database. So
It will show the database also, even if
No,
we
it won't
publish.
show the database. Basically, so in this visual, if you see, right, total
Mm.
price by store.
Mm.
Now, if I click and export the data, what do you think will get exported? It will
Only the data
basically,
which we selected on the date.
yes. So
Oh,
only the data that you have selected there gets exported.
okay.
1 second, where did I?
So if you want to complete it, we will select complete dates and we can see
So
all
this is a
data.
summarized version that got
Summarized version.
exported. Now, if
Okay.
you want complete, like let's say a table has
Uh,
everything, and if you
uh,
export that table, it will export all the data in that table.
in that table. Oh, got it.
But there also is some limit, like you cannot put, millions of rows in a table and expect to export that. Power BI doesn't allow that. It will have some
Okay.
limit. You can only export that much amount. But yeah,
Okay.
as Priya asked, right, if you want to export, there are various ways, like you can export it as PowerPoint, uh, as a PDF, send it in email.
Okay. But basically, the database can be seen only by the editors who has
Yeah,
this
by
file.
the editors. And also you have options where you can allow other people to see the data set. Okay, so
Okay.
there are, when you publish your report to the workspace in
Mm.
the Power BI service, you as an admin of that workspace have option to allow permissions to other user, whether they are a viewer who is only able to see the report, or whether they are members. These are the roles basically. Members can view the report. They can also, assign, provide report to access to other users, and then there are contributors who can view the data set. You can, access, download the reports. So
Can
a view.
members edit the reports as well, like if they want to change anything?
Yeah, they can do that. Members can also edit the report. If they see in service also, you have option to directly edit your report. Okay, I'm not showing that right now, but if you go to Power BI service, there is option to edit the report, or option to download the report. Because if you download the PBI file that you download, right, that contains the entire data set. So if you have option to download, then you will be able to see the data. That's why viewers, they don't have any option other than just viewing the report. They cannot download, they cannot edit. That's what we provide to users who just needs to view. If it is within your team who also needs to access the data, then you can add as a member or contributor or an
Hmm.
admin.
So viewers can just select the
Yeah,
data,
viewers can just view the report, filter out things,
filter out things. That's it.
interact
Okay.
with it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think that's all. I didn't cover the formatting part, but
Mm.
like I showed you earlier, right, how you can format your
Mm.
date. You just have to select the columns and then format it. For example, here, this is like sales, which is money, right, currency.
Mm.
So I need to select the total price measure, go over here, assign it
Dollar.
as a currency, dollar, okay, and then I will just assign it like maybe two-digit decimal places. Yeah, that's
Money, what you were asking earlier is to we can use it for our financial statements, right?
Hmm.
Like the TB data. So
Hmm.
Dinesh, have you used like a TB data for analyzing or preparing balance sheet PL?
no, no. I have never used
Okay.
it.
I
But
think Priya, we have to like create like
Huh.
each tables, like one every line item, like PPE line item, sales line item, and month wise will be the dynamic. Like we have to just put in a for certain format each and every table.
Understood. Yeah.
Uh,
but yeah, I
We
mean,
can try.
it should be pretty straightforward. If you guys are well aware of the data, then you can just, you know, if you have that option to clean the data as much as possible, right, before you put it,
mm,
just think of how you want to show it, and then create tables accordingly. Basically, an Excel sheet is a table here. Okay, one Excel, one sheet. If you have like two, three sheets in one Excel, different tables.
mm,
Okay, I think that covers all the basic stuff. So let me know if you have any other questions.
sure. Any other next session which you want us to?
Next question, if it is just between us, I think we can work
Yeah,
on the
we
thing
can
that you guys
try
were saying.
some data, yeah, and
Yeah,
then any
Mm.
other
we
questions
can
we have, we
catch up.
can discuss. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. I सुनो हम